Welcome to the Dropship Podcast, where you'll learn how to build and grow a high-ticket dropshipping business and hear stories from successful e-commerce entrepreneurs. Let's kick this thing off. Hey, welcome to the Dropship Podcast. And today's a fun one. We literally want to give you the playbook, the step-by-step, how to start a dropshipping business in 30 days or less in 2024. We've kind of narrowed it down to 7 things you need to do. All of these can be extrapolated into finer points and bigger things, but this is the nutshell of how to start a high-ticket dropshipping business in 2024. John, where do we start? I want to jump in. Most people want to jump into the products. I think that's what the listeners like. Oh, tell me the products we need to buy. But you and I start somewhere different. We start with the person.
We do, and this is probably one of the ways where what we talk about is very different to most other people who talk about dropshipping. And yes, you're absolutely right. Most people assume dropshipping, it's all about finding winning products. It's all about finding the ideal product. It's all about finding the perfect product. And that's not the place you start. You do get to looking at products, absolutely. But we actually start with the person. Who is the person that our business is going to serve? Who is going to be our ideal customer? What is their interest? What is the problems that they're looking to solve? And that then leads us to the products that we should sell in our business. So what do I mean by that? What do we mean by that? We're talking about identifying a group of people, essentially, who share a common interest, an outcome, a goal, a passion, a hobby, whatever you want to call it. There's different terms to sort of describe that we can build a business around, right? A business is about businesses solve people's problems, right? And so think that's what a business does. And so thinking about the person that your business is going to solve first actually sets you up to very easily find the right products to sell them, but it also sets you up for later on down the track. And this is why this is so important as well, is it makes your marketing and everything you do down the track way easier when you have clarity from the start that you've built your business around an ideal person. And so what's an example of that? Well, an example we've talked about on this show before is people, an example from Ben's background, say people who are passionate about golf, right? There is a group of people out there, a very large group of people, who are passionate about golf, about playing golf, about improving their game and all of that sort of thing. And so that is your niche. That's your niche, that the interest, the people. And of course, from that, you say, well, if I'm going to serve people who are passionate about golf, well, then there's a whole range of products that I could sell those people potentially. And yes, some of those might be good dropshipping products. Some of those might not be. But you've got to know that first, because this is going to then inform everything else you do, how you build your website, how you do your marketing, what content you put on your website. When you have that clarity, it just makes all of that stuff so much more easier than if you say I'm just going to sell a really boring product and I'm going to try and sell it to everybody, right? Like, oh, I'm going to sell refrigerators. Everybody's got a refrigerator. Surely that's a good product to sell. It's actually not, because from a marketing perspective, it's really hard to talk to everybody. You can't talk to everybody all at once. You can't talk to a 65-year-old retired woman in the same way that you would communicate with a 25-year-old man, right? They're completely different people. They're completely different customers. And so if you approach your dropshipping business like, I'm just going to sell everything to everybody and I don't really care, it's all about the products, it's actually much harder to do that consistently and profitably over time.
Hey, remember Holly? Yeah, episode 212. From $0 to $500,000 in 5 months. Holly is one of our best students, and you can hop on a call with her right now at dropshipbreakthru.com/call. If you're listening to this, I know you're thinking about starting your own high-ticket dropshipping business, and what better person to speak to than Holly, who is a shining example of what can be done starting your own business. So hop on a call with Holly, see if joining Dropship Breakthru is right for you. dropshipbreakthru.com/call. It makes the game easier too. When you know exactly who you're speaking to, your copy on your product pages, the content you build around that. Like there's many, to use your example, refrigerators, there's many different issues someone might have with a refrigerator, but the person wanting it for their tiny home and the person wanting it for their up north cabin and the person wanting it for their garage, those people all have very different problems. So first off, don't sell refrigerators. This is a bad example, but if you know who you're talking to, you can kind of craft out those avatars. Go back and look for some episodes on this where we've talked about it on here, and you're going to know how to speak directly to them. You're going to know the problems they have, the content you need to put out, the remarketing that you need, and your conversion rate will be way higher than if you just upload every product under the sun and try to sell to everybody.
Yep. So we start there. We start finding the person. And look, I think it's best. There's a couple of different ways that you can look at that. Obviously, I think thinking of things that people do or passions or hobbies or whatever is, I think, the easiest place to start. But you don't have to stop there. I think thinking of, people, for example, who run a business or run businesses in particular industries. That's another great way to look at it. And we've certainly talked in recent times on the podcast about a lot of great potential niches out there that are in the B2B space, right? Commercial cleaning is one that comes to mind that we did not that long ago, which we both gave the thumbs up to. There you have a big group of people that run cleaning businesses, right? And they need products to do that. If they don't have the best products to do it, they've got a problem. The problem is they can't run their business well, effectively, profitably, whatever it is. So you can serve them by helping them, putting them with the right products so that they can go and do the thing that they do. So business to business is exactly the same thing, I think, as that sort of approach. And literally,
that's still a type of person, right? That's a person with a problem who you're going to solve, right?
Absolutely.
It's not, I'm going to go solve this for every business in the world. I'm going to find a specific set of business owners where this makes sense, and likely they own this type of building and they need these type of products, and that's how you're going to land into your products, right? Same with golfing. I sold golf simulators in the past. You could also sell golf carts. You could also sell some of the electronic golf carts. You could sell some of the landscaping equipment needed on the course. There's so many different ways that you could go to sell to the golfer or to a version of that golfer or the business side of that golfer. Find the person first, and then look at all the different products out there and kind of work your way into the products. And you can kind of backdate that too. You saw that on the Avatar episode that we did, how you kind of broke out the different people who are going to buy from you, the different flavors of each. But I'm with you, John. Start with the person, start with the problem, work your way into the products. It gets kind of easy from there.
Yeah, and like the physical action item here, if you're following along with this and you're actually going to take action on what we're talking about, just build a list of ideas first. That's the first place to start. Just brainstorm a little bit. Let your mind run free. Get a piece of paper. Just start writing down some ideas of things that people are into. You can even just get onto Google and search, give me a list of hobbies. You can go on ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, what's 100 things that people love to do? Build me a list. And it's going to build you a list, right? And just go through those things and just, like, if any of them appeal to you personally, that's a great place to start. Like, if you have a personal interest yourself that you think you could have a business that serves, maybe you play golf, maybe you surf, maybe you do embroidery, like whatever it is. Maybe you're into woodworking in your shed, whatever. Maybe you love arcade machines. These are all high ticket niches, right? Just build a little list, and then you can go to the next step that we've got here, which is working out the products you're going to sell.
I think if you just turn your brain on, right? We've talked about the reticular activation system, how, an example, if you've never heard it before, if you bought a red Ford F-150, you likely see them everywhere now because you bought it. You turned your brain on to saying, I want to see these, right? It's important to you. And so if you simply tell your brain, I want to start seeing things that are $1,000 and above, you're going to start seeing them everywhere. You're going to see them in people's backyards. You're going to see them in businesses you frequent. You're going to see them at places that you go have fun or work out. You're going to see them literally everywhere, and it'll start sparking these ideas of who's the person behind they're buying them. Then you'll start populating the products that make sense to that person. And then once you get to that point, you're kind of going to see the brands. That's step 3, right? You found the person, you found the products they buy. Then you're going to go find the brands who are selling products that you just found, right? And likely they're going to be in the country near you. I'm in the US. I'm going to go find brands in the US you've definitely heard of who are selling these products, not AliExpress, not using an app on Shopify. I'm going directly to the big brands in this space and reaching out to them directly and letting them know, hey, here's what I'm trying to build. I'd love to become a retailer for your brand. What can we work out here? No, I'm not sending an email. No, I'm not filling out the form on the website. We are giving them a call. And if you're not sure what that is, again, I'm kind of referencing some of the other stuff we've done here. We've done an episode on the avatars, the products. We've done good niche, bad niche multiple times now, and we're going to keep doing that. That's a fun one. And the calling suppliers themselves go way back. It's somewhere around episode 15 to 20 in there. We did a 3-parter on calling suppliers and what that actually looked like. But that's your process. Find the person, find the products, then go find the brands. And we're eventually going to call them after we build our business. So why do we build our business first, John?
So we build our business first because when you go to call suppliers, and once again, when we're talking about dealing with established, legitimate brands here, they want to deal with other businesses, right? They've got a lot of goodwill invested in their products. They've done a lot of work. And this is like an official business relationship, right? You're going to be an authorized retailer of their products. So they want to know that they're dealing with another business, right? And so they also want to have some trust that you're actually going to make an effort, that you're actually have some idea about what you're doing, right? So we set up a website, we set up our emails and all of that, and get a phone number on our website and all of that sort of thing, so that when we go to contact suppliers, they can have inherently a level of trust for us, which makes it more likely that they feel comfortable enough to say, yep, you know what, I'm happy for you to have a go at selling our products. Because once they put their products into your business, like, their brand becomes associated with you, right? Their brand automatically becomes associated with your business, which is a great thing for you in that market, because customers who are already in the market that you want to serve, that ideal customer that you've identified, they're going to know some of those brands. And when they see those brands that they know and trust on your website, they're going to say, well, okay, now I feel a bit better, like subconsciously, now I feel a bit better about that website that I've never heard of before, that's brand new in this space. They're selling that great product, so they must be okay. So if you want to get that level of trust early on from those brands, they need to be able to say and look at you and go, yep, you're not just some dude who woke up this morning and he's still in his pajamas and had a bright idea that maybe he wants to start a business in this space, right? They want to say, yeah, look, I can see that this person has some skin in the game. They're actually committed to this. They've gone out, they've set up a website. A lot of them don't know, like, honestly, how easy it is to set up a website. It's really not that hard on Shopify. But they've gone to the trouble of setting up a professional email address. They've got a phone number. I can see that they're set up to do customer service. They've got some branding set up, right? Once again, not expensive. None of this is expensive to do. In fact, we've walked you through the costs here on this podcast before, like less than $500, right? This is all going to cost you to set up in the beginning. But they can just look at all of that and say, yeah, while they might be unproven in terms of selling these products at this point, at least I can say that, you know, if our products go there on that website, it looks pretty decent. They're not going to, you know, it's not going to like look shit basically for our business to be associated with that.
And let's be real. Like, if you're listening to this, you've seen the ads on TikTok. You've seen the dudes next to the rented Lambos. You've seen the scams. Unfortunately, John and I are associated with these. We get the same comments on our ads that we must be a scam. So you've heard of this before. Well, guess what? Those same people are doing zero work and calling these suppliers and saying, yo, can I sell your products? And then they're like, well, you're going to sell them on eBay or Amazon? Well, yeah, I'm going to list them on Walmart.com and Amazon and try to flip them. And like, they don't want those people. We need to set ourselves apart from people who are fly-by-night sellers who are just trying to make a quick buck based on the last TikTok they saw, and show that we're building a real business, that we're building something that we deeply care about, that we're trying to change our lives. We're trying to change the customer who's buying this stuff's lives. We're doing the hard work, and that shines through to these suppliers. They want to work with people like us. They don't want to work with the people I mentioned at the first part of this little rant here. And so building a website really sets you apart from the rest of the people out there who aren't trying to do the hard work. They're just trying to make a quick buck.
Yep. Absolutely. And so, you set up your website. I mean, we use Shopify, of course, as we've said many times on this show before. Shopify is probably the easiest for somebody who doesn't have any experience online. It's definitely the easiest place to get yourself set up and build and set up a professional looking e-commerce website that has all of the, the functionality that you would expect in an e-commerce website, and that a supplier, if they looked at it when you're on the phone with them, hey, I'd love to sell your products, they go and look at your website, it's going to look like what they expect a website to look like, kind of pretty much out of the box, right? And not to mention that, I mean, it's a great system to use in an ongoing sense as well. So we get on Shopify, we set up the website, and once we've set up the website, then it's time to start getting approvals from suppliers to put their website on your product. And so there is, once again, we're not looking for any backdoors here. We're not looking to do any sort of dodgy arrangements. We're literally becoming authorized retailers of high quality, respected brands in your country, selling to people in your country. And so we're building real business relationships here with these brands. And once again, this is something else that sets what we do apart from other types of drop shipping, where you're just going and looking for the latest hot product on AliExpress or something like that. The products that we're looking to sell here are products often that have been on the market for years. They're tried, they're tested, they have real R&D put into them. They're high quality. Customers love them. And so, what we're doing here is we're picking up the phone and we're calling those suppliers, right? So we're picking up, if you can, you're picking up the phone. Sometimes, you might fill out an online dealer approval form on their website. Other times you might only have an email contact for them, and so you're going to fire off an email address and then try and find a phone number and give them a call. But we're picking up the phone, having a conversation with them and saying, explaining to them what your business is about, that you'd love to sell their products, and working through what they need to enable you to do that.
I can hear, again, people saying, what do I say? Again, go back somewhere in between episode 15 and 20. There's some calling supplier episodes. And if you got stumbled up on that last step, building a store, what does one actually look like? Wouldn't you know it, we did a podcast on that too, including one that was like, why would these people want us to sell for them? So all the questions you have in your head, John and I have tackled all of these in different podcast episodes. We encourage you to go back and look through 200 plus at this point episodes that John and I have done answering these little questions. But let's assume you built your store, you called some suppliers, you probably got some no's, but you definitely got some yeses as well. Now we need to upload products. It's honestly almost as simple as it sounds, John. You're going to get a spreadsheet often from your supplier of like, here's what that looks like. Some will send assets, some will not. Some will tell you to use their website, and you will have to take the images in that. In our course, we kind of walk you through a process that is very SEO focused. We want you to minimize the images. We want you to make them one by one. We want you to adjust your title of your product and your H2s. And if you don't know what any of that means, it's not as confusing as it sounds. It's just, the bigger letters versus the smaller letters. But we want you to upload a certain way inside of Shopify. And if you don't have our course, again, go look at the examples that we've given to you so you can see what that looks like. We're trying to present a sales page to a customer. Think of this as if you're walking into your local, I like to use my local Ace Hardware. There's always somebody standing at the door saying, hey, what can I help you find? And they're walking me through how the product works and what I'm going to get if I purchase this. That's what your product pages are too. So you're going to use the information from these suppliers, whether that's in a spreadsheet, whether that's in a PDF, whether that's from their website, and you're going to upload products onto your site, or you're going to pay a virtual assistant to help you upload those products on your site. You're going to make them unique. You don't want to just copy and paste from the supplier. You actually want to spend time, again, going back to number one, talking to that person. And we've given some examples on this podcast. If you're selling a better machine air purifier, you're going to talk to the person who's up all night listening to their husband snoring, or they have a stuffy nose laying in bed, not this air purifier does blank, buy this because blank. Like, you want to, again, talk directly to that human while you're uploading these products. And once you upload products, it's time to send some traffic to those pages.
Yep. And the one of the things that sets high ticket dropshipping apart from other dropshipping as well is this isn't all about social media. So what we're not going to do next is start running Facebook and Instagram ads, or TikTok ads even, or organic TikTok. That's the latest thing I've seen in the dropshipping space is, I get made $1 million by organic posting on TikTok all day. And it's like, oh yeah, great. No, that's not what we're going to do here. When people want to buy high ticket products, high quality products, when they have a problem that they're looking to solve and they have an idea of what the outcome might be, or even if they want to find out what the outcome, what the solution to their problem is, it's going to provide the outcome they want, they go to a search engine. In 2024, and probably still beyond, people are going to go to a search engine like Google, like Bing, and they're going to type in questions into that. Or they're going to type in the names of products or brands that they're looking to buy, right? So people are doing that right now for the products that you could be selling. They're on Google typing in, where can I buy X product, essentially. And so all we want to do in the first instance, the start of our marketing, is to put ourselves straight in front of people who are already looking to buy the products that we sell. We are not trying to create demand here for products that nobody actually wants, as in AKA AliExpress dropshipping. Oh, here's a cheap product that you don't actually want, but I'm going to try and Ben's got one in his hands right now. Yeah, the little dodgy plastic eyepiece. We're not doing that. We're not trying to create interest in a product that nobody actually wants or needs. We're selling a product that people absolutely do want and need. We just have to put ourselves in front of that existing market. And so the best way to do that is on search engines. And the quickest way on search engines to do that is with Google ads, primarily Google shopping ads. You can do the same thing on Bing, of course, as well as a smaller search engine. But we start with Google shopping ads. That's the first types of ads that we run, and that's the first traffic we get. And we like to start with ads. I think over time, there's obviously other traffic channels that you bring into one of these businesses. SEO is a massive thing, like getting into organic listings on search engines. But that doesn't happen immediately. It can't happen immediately. But we can get quick traffic and early traffic to our site with paid ads, which helps us to start making our first sales. And it helps us to learn more and more about our business, to start having interactions with customers, to learn more and more, which then will help us with all of our future marketing efforts in other areas as well. And so Google Shopping, you're going to run Google Shopping ads. And the great thing about Google Shopping ads is that you can be very targeted if you do it correctly and put them in front of like literally an exact product that somebody is actually searching for. You can put an ad right in front of them. If you go on Google right now and search for a product that you use, you're going to see ads for that product on Google with the image of the product and the price and the title there. Those are the ads that we're going to run. And so the great thing about those ads as well is it's pay-per-click advertising. So you only pay if somebody clicks on that ad to go to your website. And because they can see the image of the product and the price and that sort of thing, there's a decent level of intent if they do click on your ad, because they've already looked at that and said, well, I think that looks like what I'm looking for, or something similar to what I'm looking for. I'm going to click on that ad and go and learn more about that and, look at the business that's selling it and all of that sort of thing. So it can be a very targeted way to get your first customers. And luckily as well, I think, for beginners, the Google Ads platform, well, I won't say it's easy for somebody who's never done it before, or for some people, it takes a bit of thinking to get your head around how it works, which is normal. But compared to other forms of paid advertising, it's, I think, a very simple and stable platform to use. Like the learning curve is way lower than, say, Facebook ads or any of those sort of social media advertising angles that a lot of people might have heard about.
Just to iterate, we're not running cold, right? If you're think of the idea that I'm selling a $3,000 sauna and I'm stopping your scroll on TikTok or Facebook. Oh, wait a minute. You ever thought about buying a sauna, bro? Click here to check out the benefits of a sauna. Maybe further down the road when I've really built all the systems, I've got the content, I've got the email flows to work them through that process. I'm going there. But in the beginning, there's already demand for these brands. There's already demands for these products, and we simply need to step in front of that demand using Google Ads, as John said, Google Shopping specifically in the beginning. And then, after that, we can do some SEO, which is where I like to jam out. But hopefully this made sense to you. Find the person, find the products, find the brands of those products, build your Shopify store, call those brands, let them know you want to work with them. Some will say yes, some will say no. Take the ones that say yes, upload those products onto your site, rewrite the products on your site to that customer, then run some Google ads to those sales pages, targeting really bottom of the funnel keywords to start, slowly expanding to middle and top of the funnel. Now you can do all of this for less than $500. You may spend a little bit more. We recommend $30 a day on ads once you actually get up and running. Again, Google will pay for half of that in your first month for free. And so you can kind of start for a very small dollar amount, very little risk, but really put the effort in to building something that down the line hopefully can drive real revenue, real profit to you, and be a real asset to which you can go to Empire Flippers or Quiet Light Brokerage or somewhere else and list it for sale if you want to, and get a real multiple on your profit of that business as well. I think this is the best business model for anyone to get started in e-commerce. Very little risk. You're going to learn real skills, real tangible skills on how to market, how to speak to people, how to copyright, how to code a little bit. You're going to learn a lot of real skills, and you're going to do so with again, very little risk. I can't see a different business model that makes more sense than this one for someone who's looking to dip their toe in the water and get started.
Yeah. And certainly as far as dropshipping is concerned, this is the best way. Well, to me, it's the only way to start dropshipping. That was the case. We're talking here about 2024. It was the case in 2023 and pretty much every year before that as well. It's always been the case. And the thing I love about this, and the way that you know this is the right way to do it, is that people have been doing this method literally for like 20 years. And honestly, it hasn't changed fundamentally in that time. Whereas over that time, we've seen all these other kind of tacky models of dropshipping come and go. They come and go every year. This is the one constant in the dropshipping space. I've been doing it for nearly 10 years. Ben's been doing it for only slightly less than that. And we're literally doing pretty much, little things change, little tactics change here and there. But the basic model that we've just walked you through is exactly the same as when I first did it 10 years ago. And that is the sign of a sustainable and good business to start. And the great thing is as well is what we've just walked you through here. Not only can you do it, set it up for less than $500, as Ben mentioned, you can do it 2 hours a day. You can do it in 30 days. We've taken nearly 1,000 people through this at this point, and that's the average. 30 days, you can have one of these businesses up and running. If you spend 2 hours a day on it, if you're listening, you're probably working a day job. You might be listening to this at your day job. You want to make that change 2 hours a day. After hours, you do that consistently for 30 days, you will have a business up and running. So in 30 days from today, from right now, you could have your own business up and running. We've just given you the steps. That's what you've got to do. So take action. Take the next step and start your business.
Last year, this was one of our most popular episodes. It was listened to 50,000 plus times. If this also pops off like this, thank you for joining us, and go check out some of the other episodes. This is going to come out as like episode 244. Every question that's coming in your head right now, we've probably answered, and you should go back and listen to it. And if you're like me, you like to binge, start wherever you'd like and just start binging. The whole bottle is here for you. We've torn down websites. We've given you examples of our previous businesses as other previous businesses. We've had student success stories on the podcast. There's a lot here. And so if you're looking for more information, you found it. Dive into these podcast episodes. And if you're ready to start your own journey, go book a call. dropshipbreakthru.com/call. You can hop on a call with one of our students who's having success with this model, who would love to talk you through what it looked like for them and what it could look like for you. Thanks for listening to the Dropship Podcast. You can find all the show notes for this episode at dropshippodcast.com. And if you're ready to take the next step in your dropshipping journey, we invite you to join us inside Dropship Breakthru, where John and I will walk you through step by step in starting your own high-ticket dropshipping e-commerce business. But that's not all. Dropship Breakthru will also teach you everything you'll need to know to grow your business and take it to the next level. So head over to dropshipbreakthru.com and sign up for our free training that will help you take the first steps towards building and growing your own profitable high-ticket dropshipping business.